Good morning, Year 3. Our TLP this morning for English is Can I use speech marks? Now you may also see speech marks called inverted commas. That's their proper grammatical name. Now speech marks or inverted commas look like this. This symbol here comes at the beginning of when people start to speak. And this symbol here shows that they have finished speaking. We will learn more about how to use speech marks as we go through our lesson today. Now in the Iron Man, there aren't actually that many sentences with speech in at the beginning of the story. So I thought we'd go back and have a quick look at an old favourite of ours from last term, Cinderboy. So the twisted fairy tale all about Cinderboy who scores the amazing gold. Let's see if we can spot some inverted commas marking the speech in this part of the story. Who are you? He stuttered. I am your TV godmother, said the face on the television. And guess what, Cindy? You shall go to the big cup final. But I don't have anything to wear, stammered Cinderboy. So, as you can see, we have speech marks when somebody starts speaking and speech marks when they finished. That is before the he stuttered. Again, the face on the television said, I am your TV godmother. So we have speech marks at the beginning and speech marks at the end. And guess what, Cindy? You shall go to the big cup final. All of that is being spoken. So we have inverted commas at the beginning and inverted commas at the end. And for the final sentence, but I don't have anything to wear, stammered Cinderboy. So again, the inverted commas show us what Cinderboy says, where he starts speaking and where he finishes speaking. Punctuating speech correctly can be tricky, but not when you've got this acronym, SCAPS. SCAPS. That really helps us to remember what we need to do to punctuate speech correctly. So let's move our arrow. First of all, we have to start with the speech marks. After that, we always need a capital letter. Then we write down the actual spoken words. What did the person say? We need the punctuation to finish off the speech. So if it's a question, an exclamation, if it's the end of what's being said, or if you're going to continue on and say he said or he stammered, we would need a comma. And then finally, speech marks again. So, SCAPS. Say it with me. Speech marks, capital letter, actual spoken words, punctuation, speech marks. And it's quite nice that you've got the same thing at the beginning and at the end. Let's try it with one of our sentences. So the first part of speech in our play yesterday was, Dad, I've seen something really scary. And that's what Mr. Stilwell said when he was pretending to be Hogarth. So we have to put in, to finish off the sentence, said Hogarth. Dad, I've seen something really scary, said Hogarth. I wonder if we've got all the things we need. So SCAPS, speech mark. Have we got our first? Yes, we have our first set of speech marks. Now, these speech marks are very straight, unfortunately. I tried lots of different fonts and I could only find really straight ones. When we look at how we're going to write it in our books, they will look a little bit more like the inverted commas we saw at the beginning. So, speech marks, yes. Capital letter, yes. The actual words that Hogarth said. I've underlined those in blue. Now, we've got the speech marks, but we know because of SCAPS, we need to put in some punctuation. And because he was shouting it, we need to put in the exclamation mark. So, after the exclamation mark, we've got the speech marks. Now, that could be the end of the sentence, but because we need to say who's speaking, we've added said Hogarth and also a full stop at the end. So, let's check SCAPS. Speech mark, capital letter, actual spoken words, punctuation, speech marks. Brilliant. We've punctuated this sentence correctly. Okay, let's have a little look through. So I know this sentence is punctuated correctly because we've just done it. Let's go down to the next sentence. Calm down, son. What did you see? Said Dad. So we've got speech marks, capitals, actual speech, punctuation, and speech marks, SCAPS. Fantastic. Let me just show you in blue what was the actual words that were spoken by Dad. Calm down, son. What did you see? So all of that goes within the speech marks. Right, next. I saw an iron giant. It was huge, said Hogarth. Shall we check? SCAPS. Speech marks. Capital letter. Actual words spoken. Punctuation, speech marks. Now, I'm going to challenge you to think, if you were underlining in blue, what words would you underline? Okay. I saw an iron giant. It was huge, said Hogarth. Did you get the blue line in the right place? Those are the actual words spoken by Hogarth. And finally, I'm going to pause for a moment. Can you spot the SCAPS punctuation in this sentence? Don't forget the acronym, it's here, SCAPS. Can you see the punctuation? Very good. Speech marks, capital letter, actual words spoken, punctuation and speech marks. Again, we've done it properly. Where would your blue line go? That's right. An iron giant, what do you mean? Said Dad. Okay, so first things first. I've written the date and the TLP, can I use speech marks, to remind myself what my learning is. And then I've done my little short acronym, SCAPS, to remind myself how to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. This is the little jogger to remind me how I'm going to do it. Now, my first sentence is spoken by Hogarth, and I've drawn him here. He's got sticking up hair, his mouth is wide open because he's shouting, and he's a bit scared. So let's see how I've punctuated that first sentence. Dad, I've seen something really scary, said Hogarth. Now, let's check I've done all the things that I'm supposed to do. So we've got speech marks, we've got the capital letter, we've got the actual speech, and then because he's shouting, and because I've got an exclamation mark here, I'm going to put that exclamation mark in, I'm going to put in my speech marks, and then I'm going to say who is speaking. So have I got all my SCAPS? S, k, a, p, s. Yes, I do. And I haven't forgotten the full stop at the end of the sentence. Okay. Now, my second sentence. Calm down, son. What did you see? Said Dad. Let's check again. Speech marks, capital letter, actual speech, punctuation, and speech marks. Okay, let's do the next one together. See if you can work it out before I start. I saw an iron giant. It was huge. Now again, I know who's speaking there. It's Hogarth. He's still shouting because he's still really, really scared and his hair's still sticking up. So I need to have my speech marks. My capital letter. I saw an iron giant. Full stop. It was huge. And again, the punctuation at the end is my exclamation mark. Now Hogarth has finished speaking. There's nothing else in the speech bubble. So this is where I need to put my inverted commas. They need to be high up in the air and they look a tiny bit like a teeny tiny 66 and a teeny tiny 99. So that's what our speech marks should look like. I saw an iron giant. It was huge. Now, who was speaking? Let me go back. Oh, it was Hogarth. So I'm going to carry on. Said Hogarth. And then I'll go on to my final sentence, which is the one from Dad. Here's Dad, very sensible haircut. Okay, he's beginning to look a little bit concerned now, isn't he? So, speech marks. Capital is the A, and Iron Giant, what do you mean? And again, he's asking a question here. We've got our question word, which is what. So we are going to need to finish that sentence with a question mark. An iron giant, what do you mean? So my punctuation is the question mark and my speech marks go after. Let's try my SCAPS. S, k, a, p, s, SCAPS. Speech marks, capital, actual speech, punctuation, speech marks. And I've got to just finish off by saying who is speaking. Said Dad. Now, your challenge is to do your own sentences. So whatever you've popped into your speech bubbles, can you do some simple sentences using the speech marks? Okay? I'd really like you to have a go at the punctuation. I'd rather you did 4 or 5 sentences and do fabulous speech marks rather than lots and lots where it's all got a bit muddled. So go slow, take it carefully. If you forget how it's meant to look, rewind the video, have another look. In the box below, I've also put a little link to a BBC bite-sized video, which will also explain this in a slightly different way, which might be helpful. If you're feeling confident with speech marks and you'd like to challenge yourself, look what I've done. I've used said each time. It's not that interesting. I wonder if you can find some different verbs to use. You could always use a thesaurus to help you. Okay, really looking forward to seeing these later and to hearing how you wrote up your speech from your little play yesterday. See you later. Goodbye.